Hey guys, what's going on? We're back from Spain and Portugal. Awesome trip, amazing food, people, sights, the weather was great, all of it. Learned so much at the course. Super glad I went and feel really confident now with the palatal approach and pterygoid implants. You don't get to place any pterygoid implants on actual patients in the master course, but you do get to see them done on live patients, and you do also get to practice on models, and the theory is really well explained. It's kind of hard to find a good source of all the landmarks and the protocols for placing pterygoid implants like anywhere else, and so it was really a good comprehensive view of that, even though it was only about one day of the course that even discussed pterygoid implants. The rest of it was on palatal approach and more of a standard all-on-4 protocol. But we're back now, and we have a sedation this morning at the office. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get much footage from this sedation today because it's going to be mostly fillings and some crowns and not really anything super photogenic, but if we can, we will. And then other than that, it's kind of a standard operative day, some consults, and it's going to be good. Whenever you come back from a trip, it's always weird we've been out of the office now for a week. It's always kind of weird getting back into the rhythm of it. You feel a little bit, I always have a little bit of imposter syndrome after I've been gone for about a week. Well, honestly, even over a weekend, sometimes I feel that way because it's like, oh my goodness, do I even know how to do this? But it comes back. It's like riding a bicycle, and I'm sure you guys feel the same thing, but just know you're not alone. It's the normal feeling. What do they call it? The Sunday night blues. Well, for me, it's the Tuesday night blues because we usually get back to work on Wednesday, work Wednesday through Saturday. And you kind of, it all starts running through your mind again, and you're like, okay, we're doing this. But, I think it's good to do something that scares you, do something that is, pushes your limits, pushes your abilities. If dentistry was easy, everyone would do it. And honestly, it would be boring for us, right? Because we didn't get into dentistry because it's easy. We got into it because it's a great way to serve people. It's a great way to use medicine and technology to help people in a tangible way every single day, because tooth problems are not something that a small segment of the population deals with. Unfortunately, pretty much everybody at some point in their life is going to have some kind of a dental need. And so as a dentist, you're that person in your community who gets to help with that. So that's a privilege, and I think it's easy to forget that as dentists because it's so mundane for us, but we really do make a big difference every day in someone's life. And so we're going to go do that today. We're going to go do another day and do another week, and thank you guys for tuning in. Hey guys, so we wrapped up another day. It's about 5:30 right now, and it was a good day. The sedation that we did this morning, though, was a sedation failure. What does that mean? Does that mean the patient died? No. Does it mean that the patient got up and walked out? No. It just means that they weren't as comfortable as they should have been. She was anxious the whole time. The sedative effect never really took effect, even though I gave her a total of 9 milligrams of midazolam throughout the case. It's about a 2.5 hour, 3 hour long case, something like that. And I gave about 200 micrograms of fentanyl, and then about, I think, 10 micrograms of dexmedetomidine, something like this. And that's way more than I normally have to give. And unfortunately, it just wasn't enough for her. She wasn't in pain for the procedure, but she was mentally not doing well. She was very anxious, but she toughed it out, got through it. And it's hard to know, if we hadn't had the sedation on board, would it have overall gone better or would it have gone worse? it's hard to know, and she was fine throughout. She said, I'm okay, I'm sorry, we could just tell she wasn't comfortable. And it's hard. It's hard to see because you want everything to go perfect every time. You want your patients to just feel great. But sometimes that's not achievable. There was a couple times where she felt sensitive on the lower left, even though I had already blocked her with bupivacaine and Sedation a couple of times. And I went straight to Sedation on this case because she had told me that she has an issue with getting numb. And when a patient tells me that, I don't mess around even with lidocaine. I go straight to Sedation. Yes, there is a increased risk of persistent numbness with that, but to me it's worth the risk because the risk is very low in the literature. The literature doesn't even all agree that it's actually a big risk. But we made it through. We went ahead and continued on. I did end up having to use the X-tip, where you drill a small hole in the bone and then inject anesthesia directly into the medullary space. And that helped, but honestly, even with that, she was still having discomfort. I gave a mylohyoid block on the lingual as well with lidocaine, hoping that would help, and a buccal, infiltrated on the buccal with Sedation. And she still, even though the fillings were small that we were doing on number 18 and 19, she still felt discomfort. And so, sometimes this happens, and it happens a lot with root canals more often than with fillings. But I was talking to my assistant about it afterwards, and she was mentioning that, so much of this stuff is mental. And I think, not saying she's making it up, but saying that it's almost like the mind can become hyper attuned to stimulus. This particular patient had a very bad experience at a previous office where the wrong tooth was extracted. And that can, a very traumatic experience like that can alter the way people feel pain, the way they perceive stimulus, and what they feel is real pain. She was feeling real pain. I have no doubt about that. But the typical methods that we use to anesthetize, to get people comfortable, just doesn't always work. And so really, I would say if she needs anything more extensive, at least on the lower arch, she's going to need general anesthesia. So we'll need to bring in a dental anesthesiologist, or, that's really the option, because, if it's fillings or whatever, the oral surgeon doesn't do that. So we'd have to bring in a dental anesthesiologist, which is fine. It's just it raises the cost by about $5,000. So anyway, it was a good day. Other than that, it was a good day even with that, because overall the procedure was a success, but the sedation was a failure. So I like to kind of evaluate afterwards and be honest about how stuff went, and that's my honest assessment of it. So thought you guys might be interested to hear that. But anyway, tomorrow's another day, so we'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for tuning in to the Interdental Space.